Good morning. Today we're going to take a look at why the MR equals MC rule is the profit maximizing quantity of production for a firm. I've got a marginal cost curve here which applies to any firm because all firms produce output in the same way, and we have a perfectly elastic marginal revenue curve for a perfectly competitive firm. All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to label a few quantities here. And so we have Q1, and let's put a Q2 here, and a Q3 over here. All right, and now let's take a look at what's happening at each of those individual quantities. And that's sort of the thought process behind the marginal way of thinking. Take a look at each individual unit and make a decision about it. And so if we look at Q1, let's just decide not is it the very, very best we can do, but let's just decide if Q1 in and of itself is a good unit to produce, okay? And the way we're going to do that is we're going to take a look at Q1. I see that I hit my marginal revenue curve right there. So that's how much money the firm is bringing in. And at Q1, I can see that my marginal cost is here. So in essence, what we're looking at here is we're looking at a unit of production for which the revenue exceeds the cost. And the firm would definitely want to produce that unit. Let's go ahead and take a look at Unit 2. Once again, at Quantity 2, there's my marginal revenue. And at Unit 2, here's where I see my marginal cost. And once again, we see that revenue exceeds cost. If I were to, add another one in here, let's call it Q4, I can see that marginal revenue, marginal cost. Now, you'll notice that this is a significantly smaller difference between revenue and cost than this is, but still revenue exceeds cost. Another way to think about that is if you were walking down the street one day and somebody handed you a $100 bill, you'd be really happy, right? Here's our $100 bill. And the next day you were walking down the street and somebody handed you $75. Well, it wasn't the 100 you got yesterday, but you're still happy with somebody handing you $75. And if the next day you walk down the street and somebody hands you 10, well, you're still happy you got 10 bucks. You're not doing as well as you did the first 2 days, but you'll still take it. And let's go over here to Q3 and identify our marginal cost and our marginal revenue. And there we can see that the cost exceeds our revenue. And of course, we would never want to produce a unit for which cost exceeds revenue. All right? So what we find in this particular case is that all of these units that I'm highlighting right now, for each and every one of those units, the revenue is going to exceed the cost. And then what we're going to find is for each of these units over here, the cost is going to now consistently exceed the revenue. And so what we've gotten to is we've gotten to this wonderful stop sign, right, that tells us let's collect every single unit for which revenue exceeds cost, and let's collect no units for which cost exceeds revenue. And so what we get is a stop sign right there. And that is our profit maximizing quantity. Okay, and I know it's not easy to see in yellow there, but the reason, of course, we're writing it in yellow is because MR equals MC is the golden rule of economics. All right, so there's your golden rule of economics. MR equals MC, and that's why it's the golden rule. Every unit prior to MR equals MC is marginally profitable. Every unit after MR equals MC is marginally unprofitable. Thank you so much.